professional. We paid, the club paid us a lot of money. The players receive money. Me receive money. You understand? Not to find excuse and don't have spirit or don't show the sense of belongings or don't show sense of responsibility, because we are showing this. And for me, this is unacceptable for me, because this is the first time in my career to see a situation like this. And until now, I wasn't able to change. Not to change, but compare last season, the situation went to become worst.
Why, Antonio? Why do you think it is like this?
Why? Bah, I don't know, because they are used here. They're used here. Don't play for something important. Yeah. And they don't play. They don't want to play under pressure. They don't want to play under stress. Yeah, it's easy in this way. And Tottenham story is this: 20 years that there is the owner and never won something. But why?
Go, here we go. Hey, listen, I'm Antonio Conte. I came to Sperzi from Italy. I asked for money, he gave me money. I asked for Mbappe, he gave me a piece of toast for breakfast. I asked, I want a piece of toast. He said, you cannot piss on toast. I say, fuck you, I'm Italian, eh? I asked for pasta. He gave me pasta, but there was no fork on the table. So I said, I want a fork on the table. He said, you cannot fork on the table. I said, fuck you, I'm Italian. I'm Conte. Eh? I went to my room, my office room, and there was no shit on the bed. So I called Daniel Levy. I said, listen, I want to shit on the bed. And he said, you cannot shit on the bed. I said, fuck you. Yeah, Spurs, you haven't won for 20 years. I'm going back to Italy. Ciao. Welcome, guys. What a rant. I mean, we all saw it yesterday transpiring. Antonio Conte threw his toys out of the pram, and boy, yep. Do we laugh or do we say, yeah, that's comical? And you know, regarding Antonio Conte throwing out his toys of his pram, I was analyzing, thinking, hang on a second. Aren't you part of the recruitment? Aren't you the one telling who to buy? Exactly. You know, isn't it your job as a manager to instill that winning mentality, to make them work? Like, you know, so I was thinking, well, hang on a second. Conte. Well, Conte's been successful because he's always got what he wanted. It's like that spoiled kid in the candy shop. Points, I want this lollipop, you get this lollipop, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, when you get this, I call it short-term investment, and he wins the leagues and then he buggers off. Like, you know, he never stays more than 2-3 years, maximum 2-3.
He's a Johnny man.
Yeah, so he buys those experienced old players just to win, and then he buggers off. So obviously, I kind of felt that this Spurs job kind of exposed him for, you know, is he a really good coach, or is it just, you know, he's not obviously not a tracksuit manager. That's one thing for clear. Dan, what do you think?
Well, with Antonio Conte, I think that I don't know why Spurs fans are moaning, to be honest, because he's literally what United fans were crying out for a few seasons ago, where we're like, look what happened when Rangnick came in. He called out the club when needed. He spoke what the fans wanted to hear, and he wasn't a filtered manager, and that's what Conte's always been. So I don't know why Spurs fans are moaning that he's calling out the players when the players aren't performing. Like, yes, Harry Kane is pretty much carrying Spurs this season, but Antonio Conte is literally being like, he's got a sword to his back and he's being forced off the plank, and the sharks swimming in the ocean, and they're asking him to try and stay above the water with his arms tied behind his back. It's impossible. And yes, he has had investment, and that's what caused Spurs to get top 4 last season. Obviously, they got signed Kulusevski, they signed Bentancur, which were good signings. And it seems that Spurs' front line is very good. It reminds me of PSG's, where it's a very quality front line, but the whole team around isn't up to that standard and isn't up to that quality. So I don't think it's actually down to the manager. I don't think it's down to the coaching. I honestly think it's down to the lack of investment that Spurs have received. I mean, I'm not too knowledgeable about Spurs, but I just say from a United standpoint and from what I've heard and what I've seen, that Spurs fans should be grateful of Antonio Conte, of what he's got for them, because like United, Spurs have been inconsistent and getting top 4 every season.
Yeah, well, in a way, when you look back at Spurs and you're doing a comparison, you can see that Daniel Levy is kind of a carbon copy of Ed Woodward, right? I mean, it's kind of, he sacked the only manager that got him to a final in Champions League, right? And I don't know, it seems like, for me, it's not always been like Conte's signing. It's like a club signings in a way. Apparently, Jeb Spence was not Conte's selection. It was actually Daniel Levy's selection. But Perisic was definitely a Conte signing, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But and then you look around in Chelsea, what Chelsea's also doing. It's kind of, football goes in cycles, according to me. And, those teams like Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham are kind of where we were in last season and the season before. Like, just relying on individual brilliance. There was no cohesion, no team spirit. You can see they're not fighting for it. Graham Potter's team yesterday, they lost. I mean, how can they lose that win to 3-3 at the end of the day? Because you have no cohesion. You don't have the team cultural fighting spirit.
Not there.
No. So I don't really worry. I don't really look back what's behind us, because I don't see anyone being able to threaten our third spot, right? So the only ones that could threaten ourselves is ourselves. But I don't think Erik ten Hag would allow to do that. So, to be honest,
it's
and
like
also, guys,
with the amount of games coming up as well. I'll admit I was one of them fans that's saying, should we actually sacrifice a trophy? Should we sacrifice a competition to secure top 4? And I got absolutely pelters for it. People were saying, well, Manchester United, we should be going for every single final, every single title, this, and this. And I was like, yes, I agree. And I completely changed my mind. But the thing is that if you look at Erik ten Hag's what he's an actual person, he's methodical, he's a leader, he's a winner, he's everything United have been crying out for. And it's like, I was saying, should we just drop the Europa League due to the fact that we've got 8 games left of that competition? And like, if you count all the games that we've still got left of our season, we've got just under 20. So there's still lots and lots of games coming up, plus international breaks. So it is hard, and isn't it a massive ask for our players? So that's why I did say about players, should we sacrifice a competition? But then with Erik ten Hag, we beat Barcelona in the Europa League. So after that massive win, I don't think Erik ten Hag's like, right, okay, we have to give up Europa League now. Carabao Cup, we were already in the semi-finals at that point, so we're like, we can't ditch that. And the FA Cup, we're now in the quarterfinals for that. And he wants top 4 as well. So I've said from the get-go, if Erik ten Hag could get top 4 alone, then that's a successful season. Never mind the trophy that we've already got and the other possible finals we're going to be in. So we've just got to give Erik ten Hag a massive credit for what he's given. And I just love when Arsenal fans compare United to Arteta at the moment, because they're like, oh, Arteta's so much better than ten Hag because he's winning the league, when underneath their hoodies they've got Arteta out shirt still printed out. It's like they're so toxic, and they seem to forget what they've gone through, but because they're winning now, they don't focus on the past. And United, we're going through that transition. It's Erik ten Hag's first season, and he's already won a trophy, and he's taken us in the right direction.
Dan, hold my beer. Hold my beer for a second. I have a response to you, but my response is in song.
We're Man United, and you never gonna score.
Oh, yeah.
So we've seen it all, we won a lot, and we're never going to stop. So my response is to, why should we, right? The international break is coming up just perfectly fine. You get 2 weeks off, and hopefully players get a rest and just go away. Those who are not playing, in the national teams, go away, relax, kick up, you know, go to a beach or something like, because they deserve it, right? Because coming back is going to be very, very brutal, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Then we have an opportunity that Christian Eriksen is coming back in April. We all know that. I don't know the situation with Martial. Will he come back? Will he not come back? Nobody knows what's really going on with Martial.
I've had some insight to Martial. So I met a guy who was telling me, and he knows, well, his friend is a coach of Manchester United, and he was saying that Erik ten Hag is watching Martial, because every time Erik ten Hag's brought Martial back this season, he's gotten injured very quickly after just coming back. So Erik ten Hag is putting Martial on a 4-week training program with the first team, where he's not going to be in the match day squads, but he's actually building him up to make sure that he doesn't get injured, so we can actually use him for the rest of the season.
Wow, that's the strategy.
I believe that's a good move, because I mean, I love the kid, but Martial had a press conference not long ago, you know,
he's built like a
blaming
puppet
the
on
coach
Martial.
about how much the playing was injured and how much his injury was down to the coach playing him. Now he has a coach that's giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's taken that still fit. And this has been an age-old problem with Tony Martial. I love the kid, but I believe Man United deserves to have a striker with that number 9 on his back that plays more regularly than Anthony Martial does.
But that begs the question that the Gaffer sees something that I know Martial inside out. He's a baller, right? I like Martial if he can stay fit, right? But obviously the Gaffer has a plan for him, right? And the Gaffer has a plan because he wants to finish the season strong.
When it comes to talent, I don't doubt Martial. I mean, absolutely, he's absolutely talented. He makes Manchester United attack looks better. I mean, every time he plays, he's very dynamic. He's not a target man for sure, but with the style of play that we're trying to implement right now, Anthony Martial is a perfect, you know, striker to start for us all the time if he stays fit. When he's fit,
the thing is about Martial is that he reminds me of a pawn on a chessboard, where like he's such a vital piece to our formation, our tactics. It's the way, like, every time he's played this season, he always draws out the 2 central defenders for the opposing position, and he always keeps them busy. And that's why Rashford was succeeding with him when Martial was in the team at first. But obviously now we've got 𝑴𝒊𝒄𝒌, who is a pressing machine, and where Rashford's also succeeding from that. So I think that no matter who the main striker is when Martial is fully fit, I think we've got good viable options, because if you've got Martial coming off the bench who is a threat, then the defenders are going to be worried. And if you've got a 6'6" Dutch massive horse who's a pressing machine comes running at you for 30 minutes.
I call him wood workhorse.
I mean, I love the guy, man. I don't be, you know, for me personally, I don't think 𝒂𝒂𝒍 has done anything wrong, you know, giving everything about his story, from his price tag to, you know, his contributions, his age. He has literally fit in. And what it only shows is, if we ever sign a striker who has at least half of his work rate and is prolific, it's going to be even more beautiful than it is right now. Because 𝒂𝒂𝒍 is I love his commitment. I mean, he gives everything for the team. And he makes a difference, because for that system of play that everything is trying to execute, that high press, we need the strikers to press, and it's very important to it. So, I mean, I really rate him very highly.
Fantastic.
You know, but speaking about Spurs, you know, just to make a note about that point, you know, I will be, if I was a Tottenham fan, I will be frustrated, because Tottenham does not seem to have a project. They just want to, you know, win and take advantage of whatever opportunities that any other top 4 team.
You do realise when Harry Kane joins United in the summer, Spurs are getting relegated. You do realise that's going to happen.
Definitely.
Right?
I mean, he's carried them for so long. I mean, it's obvious that they're not going to get a player as good as Harry Kane after he leaves. I mean, not in the first transfer window for sure, because quality strikers nowadays are so hard to find, and the ones you can find are so expensive. You know,
but realistically speaking, do you think Daniel Levy will release him from the hostage? He's been keeping him in the dungeon for 6 years.
Well, his contract's up next season, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Exactly.
It's got to let him go.
So I think it will be more about Harry Kane pushing to make it work. Truth be told, there should be 2 things in the situation. Number one, the willingness for United to go through that tough situation with Levi, who is, as time immemorial, we saw the Dimitar Berbatov situation. We saw the Michael Carrick situation. We saw other players that were taken for Spurs. And it was never an easy, you know, strategy. I mean, they always push us to the last penny. But I believe Harry Kane's last year in his contract is going to play a key role because he too will see the importance. He's going to play on Man United. It's going to be a marriage of convenience. He's going to win some trophies with us, and you know, at the end of his career. So yeah,
man, we're gonna sing the Frozen song. Let him go, let him go.
Exactly.
Don't come around here no more. Hear me say. No, but he deserves to move.
Oh yeah, he does.
The thing is, though, what no one seems to be bringing up as well is that who remembers when Harry Kane went on strike when Manchester City was supposed to be coming in for him, and he went on strike and didn't go on training, and apparently he doesn't want to move. He wants to stay at Spurs for the rest of his career. Like, Harry Kane wants to break the all-time Premier League goal-scoring record, right? He won't go. He won't go to Man City because of Haaland. He won't go Liverpool because he just it stinks there. It's horrible at Liverpool. And he won't go to another London club out of loyalty to Spurs if he does have any. So for me, I think that the only destination for him is Manchester United. Would I have Harry Kane over Osimhen? No, but Harry Kane has been a veteran striker. And he's a brilliant striker, and yeah, I wouldn't say no. Let's just say that he just wouldn't be my first option.
No, I agree with you, Dan. I mean, I've been silent on this, but I don't really want Harry Kane. I mean, he's a great striker. Would he be a world-class striker? There's a lot of debates on the socials, like world-class. I feel like
that Harry Kane either goes one of two ways: either flops like, I don't know, like Jadon Sancho has, or he is like a Casemiro signing. I don't think he's an in-between sign. He either does very, very well or does very, very shit. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, well, I might cause a debate because people are saying world-class. For world-class, for me, if you won a lot of things, like, you know, you haven't won anything. A world-class player for me is like a Mbappe or a Cristiano Ronaldo, or they can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and just, you know, finish off the game, right? Like Zlatan Ibrahimovic also used to do, right? For me, I'm just afraid it's going to be another Harry Maguire signing if we sign him. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, Dan. We'd rather go for a younger striker like who do I fancy? I fancy Benjamin Sesko, upcoming, right? Or an Osimhen, Victor Osimhen as well, right?
Vlahovic.
Or Vlaho.
Vlahovic, that would be those are ideal signings to be too. And I will absolutely be over the moon if we get any of them. But I will say this. Let's not sleep on Harry Kane. Harry Kane is not world class, but he's top quality. I like the point you made. I would about being world class and being top quality. Harry Kane is top quality. He's proven to be a top quality striker. He hasn't won a lot, and it's that lack of trophies.
Whether you think Harry Kane's is a world class striker or not, he's definitely an upgrade on 𝒂𝒊𝒄. Let's just say that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he's going to guarantee goals. I mean, we've been down this road before, not once. I mean, we saw what happened when we signed Henry Larsson on an interim basis. It was just for 6 months doing the deal to Alex Ferguson. Larsson came in, banged the goals. We saw it with Michael Owen. He came in at a later age as well. He didn't do too much, but he made an impact. We saw Robin van Persie. Robin van Persie came from Arsenal. He was almost in his 30s.
Robin van Persie.
I believe Harry Kane is going to be a replica of what Robin van Persie did, given the style of play that Erik ten Hag is trying to infuse in this Manchester United team. Right. We have created a lot of chances. We just not scoring them, truth be told. And for somebody like Harry Kane that has the quality to convert chances in the box, I believe he's going to be the opposite to the Maguire kind of signing.
But do you think that he will keep Weghorst, or do you think that's just a 6 months loan? That's it.
I think the Weghorst, relationship is going to be a short one. I mean, at the end of the season, first off, one thing we have to consider as much is another major thing that's happening in Manchester United right now. That is the sale of Man United. We have to consider the fact that when the next transfer window comes, it's going to be one of the most important for us in a very long time. Given the fact that, number one, either we'll have a new owner and we'll have the potential to invest in a couple of players to enhance the squad. Given that, we definitely cannot keep Weghorst. We'll have to we'll let him go. Or if I don't know what's going to happen, given how far, if the Glazers are going to have a 360 on this whole process, given that we have had, parties from bidders going to visit facilities, look at the financials and all of that. So I think the ownership of Manchester United is going to play a major role into who we sign next season. And I'm going to say this: if we are owned by the Qataris, I mean, I don't even know. It's more
Show
like
me the money.
it's going to be such a good dream. And I know a lot of people, especially those that live in England and the traditional Manchester fans, a lot of people have a different opinion, and I totally respect their opinion, and I know where they come from. But Manchester is such a global brand right now. Like, I mean, whatever they have for themselves has become so big that we all love it so much all around the world right now. Like, but the Qataris are going to transform us into something special. I believe they have what it takes to get rid of the debt, to improve the facilities, and to invest heavily in the team to make us what we deserve to be.
Thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Come back. Ciao, Bella. Let's go.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.